Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. Today I'm going to be going over my concept blue deck. This is the deck that I'm planning on building. Basically, this is the shell of it, but as it progresses, it'll probably adapt and change. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's cover this. Alright, so right off, if you're looking at the bottom, calm down. Those are not my ratios for those cards, okay? We're actually going to kind of discuss this and kind of theory build with you guys here on the channel. And then we can all kind of discuss it in the comments and get a lot of discussion going on this because it's pretty highly debated on ratios. I mean, that's just kind of the name of the game right now with the current cards. So we'll cover that when we get down there, alright? So starting off, let's just cover the basics here, right? It's pretty much known that Ikakumon is probably the current best blue starter. Just in general, he fits in most any deck. He fits in most any strategy for blue, so he's pretty nice. His inheritable is once per turn if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution sources, draw one card when attacking. So, I mean, if you're playing Rookie Rush, I mean, pretty much any opponent, no matter what the deck is, at some point is going to be just playing a card from their hand. If they're only running 4 or 5 Digitama, and they have 12 or 16 rookies, some crazy number like that, then they're gonna probably have to play those cards eventually, right, without evolving. I mean, it's just simple basic math here, guys. So you will get value out of Ikakumon's effect for sure, and in this game, getting resources isn't too difficult. Blue does it a little bit better than others, but anytime you can just draw and have an unlimited hand size in a game, I don't see that being a negative. That gives you so many different ways, so many different plays that you can go into on a turn, and your opponent is always going to be stressed about, oh, he's probably got such and such card. Look at all those cards in their hand, you know. So that's kind of the thought process behind Omnimon. All right, going over here into my rookies, though. Pretty simple here. Yeah, I've got the alternate art Gabumon. That is a personal goal of mine, is to get a full set of these guys. It's probably one of my most favorite artworks in this whole game. I don't know why, just that blue and green, just it looks so good on that card. So definitely my goal is to get that. But the reason I'm running him is his play effect is draw one. Like I said, you're not going to be able to evolve all of these. I know there's a lot of rookies here. There's 16 here. These numbers are definitely going to get played with a little bit. And I kind of discuss my ratios later on, what I'll be dropping, what I'll be, adding in replacement, that sort of thing. So yeah, you're not going to be able to evolve all of these, right? So having some solid just play effect is and he's a great option for that. I think he's probably the best blue in general just for a when played rookie effect. Also, I've got Ikakumon here for similar reasons. He is also just a play from hand and don't worry about digivolving, mainly because he's just a 2 cost, where these other guys, their play effects are 3, he's only a 2. Now they're all, of course, evolve 0 on a rookie. You really want to have it evolve 0 just because sometimes that's the only rookie you have in your opening hand and you've got to evolve it. So you really don't want to be stuck with just playing it, okay? So sometimes there are some out there that might be worth it that have a evolve of 1 but like a cost of 3 or something like that. So not too bad, but that's for other topics. Moving on. So I've got both of the Gomamons here. I've got the starter deck as well as the booster set 1. The first one here, again, I've just got another generic at the cost of 2, pretty simple. I've got 3 just playing effects, which might not be the best, but at the same time, I can evolve them if need be. I can get that plus on that draw for evolving. We'll just have to kind of see on these rookies on where to go. I've tried to be as cost efficient as possible in this deck, basically to get to our end goal, our win condition here. And then the other one here, when destroyed, get +1 memory. I think he's pretty awesome. If you say you evolve your Grizzlymon, your blocker on top of this guy. If they kill your blocker, they run the risk of ending their turn immediately if they are sitting on 0 memory and they destroy your Grizzlymon that this guy is sitting on top of. Boom, they pass the turn back to you, which is great. A great little combo there that you can easily work out. I don't see a drawback of it at all. Getting +1 memory in general is really nice, but being able to combo it off with their whole field is ready to attack you, but as soon as they do and you block with your Grizzlymon on something that'll kill your Grizzlymon, and in their turn, right there, too good. Too good to pass up, so I definitely like the Gomamon there. And speaking of blocker here, of course I've got Grizzlymon. He's just an awesome, he's a cheap, level 4, 2 evolve cost. I cannot complain about that. Every deck, I don't care what color it is, every deck should have at least your 4 blockers, just, starter decks or whatever. Just have your set of blockers in there. I feel like it's a must. I would never want to play a deck that didn't have, you're not going to be playing so aggro deck that you could win that fast without being able to deal with blockers. So just my 2 cents there. So Grizzlymon, of course, included. And then, so now we're about to start working into our win condition, right? Depending on how the deck is built, you can go for the Omnimon route. However, if you're trying to build Omnimon, you might be a little more, if you can't afford Omnimon is what I mean, then you might be looking for other alternatives. And I think the starter, the booster set 1 Metal Garurumon for blue is pretty awesome. Basically, it helps you just keep field advantage. And what I mean by field advantage is when you play a card like Metal Garurumon, it helps you just keep like several Digimon on the field in one turn, right? So Garurumon helps in this. So Metal Garurumon's effects, so that way you're all aware of it. Some are, some aren't, might not be. But when attacking, play a level 4 or less Digimon from this Digimon's Digivolution sources as a separate Digimon without paying its cost. So when you attack with your Metal Garurumon here, you're going to basically detach your Garurumon here, who is a level 4 or lower, and his Wind Plate effect is one of your Digimon becomes active. So it's great. Combos so nicely with Metal Garurumon. It was completely intended here. I mean, they're a part of the same Digivolution chain in, lore-wise. So basically, you detach your Garurumon. He comes onto the field, and then boom, you get to set your Metal Garurumon back to attack again. So you attack again, and then you detach one of your level 3s. And if you say you got a Gabumon underneath, you get to trigger his Wind Plate effect of the draw +1. So great little combo there. These guys work so well together. I really like how it all sets up. And that's kind of your win condition. And what's nice is you instantly have these resources back on the field in Gabumon and Garurumon to start building up again. I mean, because you're looking at several turns worth of Digimon that are back on the field. Either a 3 cost, because you probably played him without Digivolving, so that's 3. Plus the 2 here, that's 5 instantly, 5 memory worth that you gotta play for free. And if you want to factor in the other cost as a 6, that's 9 memory worth of cards you just gotta put on the field for free to evolve right back on top of. So you could go right back into a Metal Garurumon relatively easily, and we'll cover that too in a minute, and have another way of doing that whole combo all over again. So Metal Garurumon is kind of the basic win condition of this deck, of being able to attack multiple times, continuing to keep your field resources plentiful, and just keep going and going. That's the general idea of the basic form of this deck. It does potentially get a little bit more advanced, and we'll cover that in a bit. But moving on from there, from our other 2 level 4s here, I've got Gorillamon here. He's just a 1 cost level 4, whereas the other level 4s here, they're all a 2 cost to evolve, but he's only a 1 cost. So if you're just trying to be as memory efficient as possible, he is probably the best option for that. However, the drawback is he is just a stepping stone to go into the next thing. For you Omnimon players, you probably want to max out on Gorillamon and probably take down somewhere else along the chain, just because you want to get to Omnimon as fast as possible with the least amount of memory use as possible, and he's a great way to do that. As well as we got the Ikakumon sitting here. Your turn, his inheritable here, so all the level 5s and 6s and potentially 7 will get this effect, is during your turn, this Digimon cannot be blocked by your opponent's Digimon without a Digivolution source. So anytime they play those blockers straight from hand, which happens pretty often, basically he's gonna just run right past it. So things like your Metal Garurumon here, you'll always be triggering his effect to attack and untap, that sort of thing. He just kind of helps facilitate the combo a little bit better without the threat of potentially dying somehow, as well as just level 5s as well. You don't want to lose your level 5 right before you can go into your level 6, all because of, you know, a blocker took you out or something like that. If you look, these level 5s here are DP 6000, Grizzlymon, all blocker, level 4 blockers are all 6000 DP, so they can all kill your level 5 potentially. So having Ikakumon underneath them helps save them. If you want to attack with them, it might not be the smartest thing, just depending on their security. You could hit that stack and still lose your level 5 due to the stack. So Ikakumon's kind of the flex spot here. You can go less on these and then more on the Gorillamon if you want to. Like I said, if you're playing Omnimon, I'd probably go that route. You could even drop the whole stack of Ikakumon and go just for Gorillamon and just run 12 level 4. Alright, jumping over here to our level 5s now. Monzaemon is basically here for the exact same reason as Gorillamon. Its evolve cost is 1 less than all the other level 5s. So just being as mana efficient as possible to try to get into your Omnimon plays. He's the best option. Zudomon, he is here. Both of these kind of, well, for 2 different reasons, really, depending on what your goal here is. This is the structure deck version, right, or starter deck. When Digivolve, discard 2 Digivolution sources from your bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. So pretty nice. It combos well again with the Ikakumon. So even if there isn't a blocker there, or there's, you know, something that's getting in your way, you can just drop the Digivolution sources and then attack right past it because of Ikakumon. Kind of combos pretty well up there, as well as just doing that in general is pretty nice. It counters the Metal Garurumon strategy, and as well as just kind of other strategies in general. It's just a nice kind of, again, a flex spot, an option. I know I don't like saying that word in this game very much, but it just gives you more utility. I guess I should start using utility. The other Zudomon here, his inheritable, when attacking, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution sources, get +1 memory. Again, this is always going to come up. There's always going to be moments when your opponent is just going to drop something that is gonna be just a win plate effect and not a Digivolution. So I think he's a great just inheritable effect for that alone. Getting memory is always nice. Again, just keeping it on your turn even longer, and just keeping the memory game aspect of the match is and just controlling that memory. He's a great option to do that. But what his other reason here is the win plate effect, the draw +2. A +2 draw is pretty big, really helping you dig through your deck. Again, finding Omnimon, finding Metal Garurumon, finding your option cards, your utility cards. He's just great for that. If you just don't really have a play, you don't want to go through your several evolutions here and then leave one of your your Digimon lines with all their inheritables just sitting there waiting for either an Omnimon or a Metal Garurumon. You don't want to just leave them sitting there open. Then just drop a Zudomon instead, get that +2 draw, and you know, pass your turn on something simple. That's kind of what he's here for. I really dig it, and then you still get his inheritable after that, which is pretty awesome. Next is our level 6 here. This is our boss monster for the budget option of it. The deck can go even further beyond, but this is the basic goal here, is to get into the Metal Garurumon play that I discussed earlier, and so he's our level 6. So that right there of the deck puts us at 42 cards with just these guys right here. However, down here I've got some different utility options, as well as the Omnimon setup we can go into. I think Vulcan's Hammer, if you're a blue player, you should probably be running this at 4, which is going to take that 42 instantly into 46, leaving you only enough room for 4 more cards. If you are dealing with Rookie Rush a lot at your locals, I recommend Volcanic Dramon. Yes, he's a red card, but if you're aware of the rules, the only time color comes into play is when you're trying to play an option card, like this right here, Vulcan's Hammer. The requirement to play an option card is you have to have that color on field, either as a Digimon or as a Tamer. That's it. So that's the only time that color comes into play here. So you can play all different Digimon colors, and so I have Volcanic Dramon here just as a kind of a space saver for all the different utility options, or the staples of the game. I did a video of that if you want to check it out, the top 5 staples. He's just here to represent if you have to deal with Rookie Rush a lot, and since Rookie Rush is cheap, I mean, you can build a super competitive win every game deck for probably less than $20 if you're just buying singles, you know, off of Evil Bay or wherever. So I think Rookie Rush is probably going to be a pretty big contender, and he's a great way to counter that. So if you just put in 4 Vulcan Hammer and 4 Volcanic Dramon, boom, there is your 50 cards. But if we take a step back from that, and you want to run the big boy, the Omnimon is the top tier of the card game right now for us playing English. And to run these 2 guys, sure, we could run them and drop those 2, and I'll go into Playmate here in just a minute, but then that'll put us at 50. But you're going to want to run the Vulcan's Hammer, so then you got to look at what to drop, right? Like I said, you're going to want to run more Gorillamon, so you'll want to drop your Ikakumon down. You might just drop this whole line, which will give you, more room here, as well as I'd probably drop 1 of each of the Gomamons, and that'll give you a little bit more room, as well as probably these the Zudomon here. Just have 2 and 2. I think would be a pretty good play you could go into, and just make the room, and then run these 2 guys as well as the Vulcan's Hammer, and you're going to max out on all 3 of these as well. So Playmate, why are we running Playmate? Again, we're talking about being as memory efficient as possible when getting into Omnimon. So if we go back all the way to the beginning here and looking at our evolution chain, to go into a rookie here is always going to be 0 memory on the Upamon. Jumping over that, we're going to go into our level 4 here, into the Gorillamon. That's where we spend our very first 1 point of memory. Then next we're going to jump into our level 5 here, into Monzemon, who is only 2 memory. That's 3 memory, and we're already in a level 5. And if it's turn 1, you haven't even ended your turn yet. You can still keep going. And then going into that level 6 play here, for only 2 memory, you can go into the Plesiomon. So that's kicks it over to your opponent. This is, mind you, going first, okay? You start them off on 2 memory for their turn. So they could maybe get it into a level 4, and that's probably it, more than likely. If they're going through a similar route here, they could go into 1 and then just have to stop here like Monzemon, whereas you have gone even past that into your level 6, which means soon as they pass it back to your turn, no matter how little, how much memory that they give you, you can go straight into the Omnimon for a 6 memory, take out whatever it is they have set up, and then they have to deal with a 15,000 DP just beat stick. For all of you that might not know what Omnimon does, most of you should. But so when Digivolve, destroy one of your opponent's Digimon, and all of your opponent's Digimon with the same name as that. So mind you, that's not like I destroy Greymon and everything with Greymon in the name. That's not how it works. It's just all forms of Greymon. So no matter what color and that sort of thing, it wipes out all the individual Greymons. All right. But also, when attacking, by returning a level 6 Digimon from this Digimon's Digivolution sources, this Digimon becomes active. So, very similar to earlier with our whole Metal Garurumon strategy, we're basically manipulating our resources underneath to attack again, basically. So we get to just keep going and going. And whatever is in their stack, whatever Digimon is in their stack, you're going to be able to run over. Nothing in this game is going to have more than 15,000 DP just by itself. Of course, you can get more DP by combining cards, but just hitting something basic in the stack with no abilities, you're going to run it over. The only time you got to worry about anything is literally running into another Omnimon. So the chances of that are... it's possible, but it's very slim. In a 50-card deck, there's only 4 Omnimons. So you have to hit it with your Omnimon in that 5-card stack. So that's kind of just the general thoughts there on the Omnimon build. I did want to go ahead and throw this Matt in there just because I think he's just a pretty good kind of utility card here. If your memory is 2 or less, it becomes 3. I mean, every color has these, and it's not necessarily wrong to include them. Again, it depends on your ratios. It depends on how much money you've got to invest in this deck. If you don't pull all these things, like the Volcanic Dramon here, you know, he could be kind of hard to pull and kind of expensive. Omnimon's definitely expensive. So if you can't pull these guys, you got your Vulcan's Hammer here, putting it at 46. I mean, you could go ahead and throw in 4 Matt Ishida, 4 Mats, and that'll complete your 50-card deck, and then you don't have to worry about these other more high-dollar cards, right? As long as you can get your Metal Garurumon, who is also kind of expensive, potentially, just looking at the deck in general, go for that first, I would say, and then expand further. Either, you know, win tournaments, get some free packs, hope for pulls, or just trade all your extra stuff. Maybe you can trade a whole bunch of cards for some of these, for just a few, and then that'll help really flesh out your deck here. And that's kind of the overall strategy that I've got going here. Definitely the preferred route for me is going the Omnimon, but it really depends on my pulls. You know, I'm not looking to spend $80 per copy of Omnimon. That's a bit outrageous. I just could not quite justify that. But for those that you can, definitely I would. If you have the ability, then definitely go for it, because that's going to be for quite a while. I mean, we're looking at 3 months, right, before we're getting 1.5. So Omnimon's going to be reigning supreme for quite a bit of time. So invest now to get your full use out of it. Of course, when the end of January comes, the price of Omnimon is going to fall, because more product is going to hit the shelves, and not just quite such a limited amount of product. So that's just going to make product fall, or prices fall in general. But then 1.5 comes out, and you know, you get Omnimon Ultra S and things like that, and that completely changes up the dynamic again. So this is going to be my goal. This is probably my my main focus of my main strategy going into this. I want to call it the first season of Digimon in the English release. And so yeah, I'm hoping this is going to work out well. If you, whatever you guys think, if you think it could use some work, or you know, some ratio changes, definitely let me know. Like I said, some stuff is going to get dropped depending on when we get stuff and how many copies of things I get. That could definitely change it. But a lot of this stuff comes from the structure deck, and the other stuff is just kind of commons. So it's easy to build this basic version and then expand and make a more advanced version as time progresses and you get more and more cards. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please support the channel in any way you can. Just liking the video or subscribing is a huge help. And if you really want to support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon. There's a link in the description below for it. You can get access to my Discord server as well as some other cool incentives. Also, check out my official merch store. There's a link in the description below for my Teespring account. You get access to all my cool merch that I've got on there, as well as some other cool stuff, cool phone cases, that sort of thing. But like I said, any kind of support is always appreciated. Just simply liking the video can go a very long way for me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.